See here, checking in on religion. Persia have still got their religion going along, and actually look like they are religiously converting Australia, which is an interesting one. But the Khmer have their religious units around as well, so it doesn't look like... Yeah, look, they've still got apostles and stuff. Oh, Japan has made peace with Mapuche. Let's have a look and see if anything flipped. No, nothing was flipped in the deal, which is surprising. Actually, so it was a complete white peace, but it looks like Mapuche is going to hold on to these 2 cities. So actually, they've taken 3 cities from the Japanese now. That's incredible. Will the Mapuche attack somebody? If they attack this Persian city now, that is open for the taking. Persia's army is elsewhere. I'm not entirely sure where it is. It's probably off the coast. Let's have a look. Yeah, look, all the Australian ships are off the coast here. Australian ironclads just in the middle of the sea. Here's the Japanese Navy. I mean, the Japanese Navy is huge, but just not very upgraded, which is their problem. Oh, Khmer settled a city down here and almost immediately lost it to loyalty. That was an ambitious forward settle, and it did not pay off for them. And actually, they might lose this one to loyalty as well. The Khmer are not doing well. My goodness. I mean, it just showed the population of enemy cities in this area now are making it very difficult to cling on to these cities. But wow, that's impressive. It looks like actually either Alexander or Japan might steal that city, but we shall see. The Mapuche have a habit at the moment of being able to claim these cities. You know, I think it actually might go to Macedon here. Mapuche, where are these troops going? Are they going to launch an audacious attack into the Persian heartlands? I would love to see it if that happens. I mean, I don't think that's the right city to go for. I would have gone for Ray personally, but we shall see. Two wonders here, 2 settlers, I should say. Does that mean that Mapuche have built the Statue of Liberty? That's normally what it means. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Okay, that's always a good sign. But the fact they've built the Statue of Liberty normally means that Mapuche have the tech advantage. That's an interesting one. And here we go. Mapuche have declared war on Persia. It looks like they're landing their troops almost immediately. These raider units are incredibly good. And Persia have to be so careful. By losing troops in their own lands in this fight, they're going to start losing loyalty of their cities. Now, I'm interested to see how effective the Mapuche ability is here. Wow, they've actually brought bombard units. That's incredible. I mean, you're going to need more than that. Really, you'd want to see at least bombard corps at this stage in the game while there are musketman corps, but wow. And actually the Mapuche are the ones having their units pushed back. Okay, so I think this might have been an ambitious target for them, but good to see. Good to see. I still think Ray is there for the taking. If they move a couple of their land troops here, they've still got a lot of troops that they could put in the area. I'm still willing to say that this city might flip. Interestingly as well, Mapuche and Japan still had their religions going, so that's not happening anytime soon. 4 turns until that 3 cities. Wow, look at that. Settler AI has a population 15, 10, 7 and 5 city going. Alexander, you're doing well. In fact, actually, this population of 15 is equal to the highest city the Khmer have got. I mean, what are you doing? That's terrible. Australia have got a 20 population, just to put it in context. Persia have got 2 19s. Mapuche have got 22. I can see there. And then Japan aren't doing so well as well, but at least 16 and 15. Khmer, I don't know what's happening. Oh, infantry units though. Infantry, so at least their tech is pretty good. We might still see the Khmer do well. Actually, these infantry corps, if they march them into territory of the enemy, that's going to make a lot of mess. Yeah, so it looks like the Mapuche have brought their army down to Ray. That's more positive. That's kind of what I want to see. A better location for them, but they're losing all the troops. They're not doing well in this battle. Persia are really holding on to their own lands very ably. Oh wow, interesting. Khmer have gone for Leventa. Is this the late stage play we're going to see? I mean, that's really good. If the Khmer could take all of these city-states and start working in there, and then start to grab Alexander's lands, they've got real potential here. Japan and Macedon have declared war on Mapuche. That's an interesting one. Japan, again, they don't look like they've got the navy to trouble those frigates. So I'm not expecting there to be anything here, but Nagoya is exposed at this point. If they're not careful, Mapuche, they're going to get surrounded here. They might need to seek a peace deal. Yeah, Leventa falls. Look at that. That's incredible. So the Khmer playing it late, but they're playing it well. And Mapuche has made peace with Persia. That's an important one. It means they're going to be able to consolidate their units, keep themselves safe from Japan. I think that might work in their favour. Persia not pressing the advantage. They probably could have moved a lot of these. Look at all these musketmen. They could have moved those down to Tokyo and given them a bit of a headache. But no, I think they're keeping themselves ready for an Australian attack. Or maybe Persia are looking to surprise attack Australia. We don't know what's going to happen on that front, but it could be interesting. And this Khmer army, where are they going to go now? Are they going to go towards Mapuche, or are they going to go down towards Alexander? And look, Alexander wins the city. Good on you, Settler AI. This is the best showing of the Settler AI that we've seen so far. Interesting that no AI is going to take advantage of having such a weak enemy on the map. Mapuche putting down seaside resorts. That's interesting. So they're actually going for a fairly cultural sort of outlook. Persia, yeah, I mean, Persia doesn't appear to have got inventory. They don't appear to have really pushed forward in tech. Australia, again, just playing it very safe at the moment. Anti-tank crews are endemic of the more populous science, but I think the Khmer are actually doing pretty well on science. Maybe I was a little bit cruel to them. Maybe I was a bit judgmental, a bit too early there. Whatever this happens to this army here, these infantry units are really tough. If they go after someone, and they go after someone properly, they might be able to do some damage. So it's interesting. It looks like Granada is at war with Alexander, which is an interesting one. Who's declared war on Alexander, and does it matter? Mapuche making peace with Japan. Nothing really happened in that war. Lisbon has taken a couple of hits, and it looks like finally Japan have frigates. So this is interesting. If Japan clear these city-states out, they could really get an advantage against Mapuche. They are not doing well in terms of loyalty to Mapuche all of a sudden. So I think there's got to be something going on here. Maybe a Dark Ages hit. Yeah, look, suddenly rebellion over in this city as well. So something not happening here. Macedon is losing population or loyalty as well. Yeah, it's an interesting one, this. I don't know, the game could flip any way. All teams are doing well to an extent, apart from Japan. Japan are not doing great, but even the Khmer have started taking people now. Australia grabbed that land initially and are doing fairly well. So this game could flip any way. I can't call it at the moment. You can see the city-states that have been fought over. Look at the boundaries of Babylon and Muscat. Tons and tons and tons of land. So clearly a number of envoys have been pumped into these two city-states, probably between Mapuche and Japan, trying to claim the advantage here. Whereas other ones like Toronto, I mean, look how small those borders are. Palenque, Jerusalem. I mean, Jerusalem is fairly decent, but not crazy. Granada is barely had any envoys put into it at all there, which is really interesting, that one. So yeah, it could swing anyway. I just can't call this one at the moment. Anti-tank crews, but no inventory from Mapuche. So I wonder if Mapuche just hasn't fallen off a little bit here. Ooh, yet again we had another minor quarter-of-an-hour crash there, so just a quick reboot, but actually this is quite handy because we can see a couple of things that we couldn't see before. You can see the religious split, so Japan with Islam seems to have sort of embraced a couple of the city-states as well as a couple of these Mapuche cities, but really hasn't made too much. Actually no, I say that they've also got Alexander under sway. Khmer, however, have got all of these city-states, and also appear to be fighting Persia's religion over Australia. Persia has still got their own, and then the Mapuche have got their own religion as well. So it really is like a four-way split on religion at the moment. Only Australia are not involved in that one, and to be honest, nothing really to report in that regard. Really, it's just a case of who is going to build up enough army in the right place at the right time to really make a dent. Ray is going to be at one of those sort of points. Maybe if the Khmer went for Rockhampton as well, but Australia's tech is pretty high. The only battles really happening at the moment are religious ones. It's the Khmer. Where are they going to make their next move? Where is their army going to go? And where is their army full stop? I mean, I'm just sort of double checking in the sea. There's no big amount of navy just sort of riding around anywhere at the moment. I like an AI that uses cavalry. You don't see the AI use cavalry enough. They tend to very heavily rely on knights, infantry units, anti-tank, that sort of thing. They don't tend to go for cavalry, but cavalry is so good. It's my favourite unit, I think, just in terms of the speed in which it can attack, and the usefulness sort of all round that it has. Look at all these Australian traders. That's crazy. So I have a feeling that Persia and Australia have made some sort of alliance here, because there is a lot of trade going between these two continents, which is a shame. I kind of hope there'd be an Australian-Persian war at some point. Also, oh, hello, right, Macedon, Australia, Khmer, Australia, Japan. So Australia declaring war on Japan has triggered Macedon and the Khmer going to war with Australia. That is an interesting one. So we've finally got our Khmer-Australia war going along here. We've got anti-tank crews defending the border from what is effectively going to be an infantry corps attack. Australia are going to have to be really careful here, but they do have the double production, so don't be surprised if we see a ton of Australian army appearing up now. The Khmer just with a casual submarine armada there, did you see it? It's disappeared now, but wow, that was you don't want to be finding that by surprise. So this is an interesting one for both Persia and the Mapuche. Which way did these guys get involved actually? So I think Australia went to war with Japan and also Macedon, right? But I don't think they're at war with Persia or the Mapuche, which is an interesting one. Again, Alexander just surviving really well. I wouldn't be surprised if Japan go for Alexander and take him out. That would be a really, really good one. Oh, did you see that? I swear, like, did that city almost flip? No, full loyalty in 1 turn. I read that as 1 turn away from flipping there, but I don't think it was quite that bad. And look, here we go, the Khmer inventory. Look, infantry armies. Those things have really high strength, so these got to be very careful actually. It's a shame we can't see what the religions do. If there are crusade religions going along, then that city would be really good to attack, but we just can't see any of these details. Come on, autoplay. There's loads of stats you could show me that would be really, really interesting for this sort of thing. That's the first spaceport I've seen in the Mapuche land, so let's just do a quick scout around and see if we see any more spaceports. No, I can see power plants in Persia, which are pretty good. Those things provide tons of production around for pretty much everybody involved. Doesn't look like Australia have a spaceport. They're still building wonders, but no spaceport at the moment. What about the Khmer? Your technology is pretty advanced. Surely you've got a spaceport. No, it doesn't look like they do. I'm just going to assume Alexander doesn't. In Japan, I would be surprised because they don't appear to be up to date with everybody. Okay, so no, it looks like it is just Mapuche with spaceports at the moment. They've got one in the capital, which is a good place to have it, of course. Normally, another one down here as well. So you'd expect a city to start doing really well. Oh, look at that, a national park going down. Man, you so rarely see that. That's lovely to see. Look at that, very good. Very good. Yeah, Khmer pushed back. Again, none of these attacks appear to be very effective at the moment. This has been a very loggerheady game. Do you know what I mean? Just big powers sort of coming up against each other and really not much happening. Khmer sort of pushed back. Australia are pushing in, but they're just going to get pushed back. And look at these submarine fleets. I mean, Australia have a lot of boats, but they're not gonna get past submarines. Just having a look at the great people just to get an idea of who's winning on what. There's a random great musician sort of resting around in Australia, and you can see, look, there's a bunch of great works in sort of various cities. So we just go to like another Australian city down here. Let's see if we can find a great place. Oh, hang on, is that a spaceport? Oh, I see an Australian spaceport. Okay, there is an Australian spaceport, and actually, is that building something? I mean, it might be building something. If you just compare that. Oh, yes, it does. Look, Australia have just launched the satellites. That's interesting. Okay, so Australia are actually probably further ahead than we gave them credit for. The spaceports, that's what they look like when there's nothing in them. Mapuche has made peace with Macedon, and it doesn't look like anything is flipped there. Sometimes it's, again, you see Macedon flipping a load of cities just without really any cause to. Okay, so that's interesting. So Australia already building space projects. They are further ahead than I'd give them credit for. Spaceport again, looks like that's under construction there. Okay, yeah. Australia getting really into the space race now. Persia with great people as well. They've got great artists just sort of lying around. I can't see any in the Mapuche lands. But Japan with a load of great people as well. You can see archaeologists floating around. So Japan are doing quite well. This is where if Mapuche had attacked here and Japan had all of this naval sort of space, if they'd gone to war and lost a load of units, that would have possibly been a real problem for them. Khmer and Australia are still fighting, but again, nothing's really happening. Khmer is slowly losing loyalty in this city, but not nearly quick enough for it to be a problem with it, and Australia just has full loyalty. So again, Mapuche, 22 turns and they've lost that city, and that would probably swing back to Japan now that Japan has got 16 population city down here. But again, actually, there's a lot of population in these Mapuche cities, so maybe not. Spaceports being built in the Khmer lands as well. I don't see. Oh yeah, look, projects being built. So that one looks like a decent project being built quickly as well. Did you see a couple of lights just turned on that single turn? So Khmer again starting to build stuff now. Two spaceports right next to each other. You know, for when one isn't enough. Oh, and Mapuche has theirs on fire. It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign for this technologically advanced city over here. Oh, being built over here though, look at that. Okay, so Mapuche is building something. Looks like things are being wheeled out now. That's quite cool. At some point I need to look up what all of these pictures mean, because there's sort of like an animation for each different separate stage of the program. Do you know what I mean? Like at first the rocket gets wheeled out, then it gets built, then these lights turn on. So there's definitely like a system to it. I actually don't know what it is. It's just a little bit of a shame. Look at that little fort. Oh, Persia's got a fort. Look at you, aren't you precious, eh? Persia are also building spaceports, but you can't help but feel that Persia are at least a couple of steps in this game behind. It's difficult to say for certain, but Australia definitely appear to be building parts left, right and centre. They have stopped just for now. Just have a look at the Khmer. See if I can't see anything here. The spaceport over in Leventa, that's a weird place to build one. This is where you traditionally seem to see them in the sort of home continent. Yeah, look, there's a spaceport over here and spaceport over here. Okay, so Khmer are really stepped up their space game as well. Mechanized inventory for the Mapuche and battleships as well. You see, this is when you should attack Mapuche. If you got yourself 7-8 battleships, you would be able to ransack these Persian troops and really cause some loyalty issues. Oh, Alexander did lose this city in the end. So, interesting. Who's this going to go to? They've got a 14 population city here, and Mapuche actually doesn't have anywhere near as much. Okay, fine. So, it looks like it might go back to Macedon. I always find it funny when that happens. You can lose a city to loyalty, but it can swing immediately back. Like, do you not think there should be some sort of rule? If you lose a city, then it can't go back to you. Like, it has to flip to someone else first. Or does that not quite work? I'm not sure. Oh, Mapuche building a bigger space rocket there. That's quite cool. So that looks like the actual the moon landing, which is reasonably cool. There's again the pillage spaceport. The computer doesn't seem to really like fixing those. Not entirely sure why. Maybe that's a strategy actually. So when I play one player, they just don't seem to really do much with them. Oh, Australia's workshop is on fire. Mechanized inventory and builder just sort of standing by it going, oh, I'm sure it's fine. Sure, it's fine, you know, whatever. Oh, where is this army going, Khmer? Where are you off to? Yeah, the Mapuche definitely seem to be furthest along in this particular project. I mean, you can see the interesting thing is going to be if it disappears quickly, are they going to immediately re-up with something else? Because mechanized inventory is a sign that they're getting quite far through the tech tree, which is cool. And yeah, look, that part's gone, and immediately they put the next one down. And we see Mapuche are in that last triple run of the Mars parts now, I think. Australia now building parts as well. It's going to be interesting to see who gets them first. This is a race between Australia and the Mapuche, I believe. Oh my god, have you seen all of this Australian army? Oh my word. What are they doing? Australia looks like they're fighting Japan still, which is an interesting one. So that's a lot of troops just sort of randomly in the middle of the sea there. I mean, Australia, I like the ambition, but why are you going after Japanese troops in the middle of an adjacent sea? What's with that? I don't understand the logic behind that one. Is there logic behind it, or are you just making this up as you go along? Because quite frankly, I would believe that. Yeah, look, Australia look like they're a complete part behind Mapuche now, because Mapuche are now building the next one. We go back over to this spaceport. Do you see here? Look, I think that's the thruster part, isn't it? So, yeah, it's interesting. Oh, Macedon and the Khmer have declared war on the Mapuche as the Mapuche declare war on Japan. Now this is an interesting one. On look, you can immediately see the Mapuche mechanized infantry, anti-tank crew, and look at that. Japan's walls are only 78 strength. That could be bad for them. If Japan lose a couple of troops in their territory here, they might suffer. But oh my god, look at that navy. It's all weak. I mean, 112 strength cities here. I mean, frigates are not going to scratch those, but it's an impressive navy. Mapuche, where have you got your navy? Where is it at? There's a couple of battleships, actually, just sort of floating in the water around. So, again, they might be able to push out, but that's an interesting one. Can Mapuche grab this city? I really hope so. I really wanted to see a strong game from them, and so far they've been pretty good. What are these army doing? Out here, Khmer. Just, what does the computer do sometimes? I just don't understand. Like, what is its logic? Yeah, look, so we can see this part. Australia are a complete part behind. I think that is the moon landing one, isn't it? So, yeah, Mapuche are way ahead on this one. Yeah, look, this is the Mars ship. So, yeah, Mapuche doing well. Australia made peace with Japan. Interesting. Any cities flipped? No, doesn't look like it. I say that only because in one of the test runs, a civ, just after being nuked, they traded away like 3 of their homeland cities to a civ on the complete opposite side of the map. So I've seen it happen. That's why I keep keeping an eye out for it. Oh my god, Alexander has a battleship. Oh, just credit to you, Alexander. You are doing well. You know what? You've deserved your bye through to the semi-final just on this performance alone. The fact that no one's taken you out, the fact that you've got battleships now, I mean, credit to you. Credit to you, good sir. Mapuche have finally fixed their spaceport, which is impressive. I didn't realise it would take them quite that long, but it did. No more parts being built. I think they've done really, really well there. Actually, Australia's still building parts. Just keep an eye out for that. 3 stars. Let's see Australia do. Australia finishing this part and immediately going on to build the next one. So Australia is starting to catch up. Mapuche need to get the next part rolling, and soon, if they want to stay ahead of this science victory. Even Japan have built their spaceports now. I mean, again, it's a little, too late, I think, but, you know, it's good. Japan and Mapuche have made peace. Oh, nothing happened. Come on, guys, we just need one interesting war here. Oh wow, look, Persia are taking on Palankik. That's interesting. Look at this. This is an armada with actual battleships. Look at that. Oh my goodness, Persia. It's a little too late, but it's a good sign nonetheless, that one. So with that peace deal, rather anticlimactically, the Mapuche have won a science victory. They probably won it a couple of turns ago. I'd failed to notice the last piece go off. There are multiple signs you look out for on the map, such as all of the other pieces that were being built have now sort of frozen effectively, but Mapuche have won the science victory. So there, they win number 1. That was, I don't know about you guys, but that was it's a little bit anticlimactic, that one. There's a lot of troops still in the area. I might let the semi-finals roll on a little further than the games there at the moment. I might turn off the extra science victories, just make it a domination only. I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe let me know in the comments. Would you prefer to see all victory types still retained on, or would you like me to make it domination only? Let me know what you think. I'm sort of, at the moment, the heats, I'm going to keep it consistent, just in fairness to all of the civs taking part. I wouldn't want them to feel like I'm cheating them out of any victory. But Mapuche with the science victory, and actually overall, I think they're of all of the civs, they're the ones that have done probably the most. Second place is a difficult one. Japan I'm going to rule out. Japan, they lost a lot of cities early on. For me, they never really got going. I think we're pretty certain on that one. Alexander, fabulous game from them. I'm really impressed with that. The Khmer didn't do anything for ages, and then they took one Levanta city, which is fine, but they've just been, again, they've done well on tech. Persia, again, they threatened to do something, but they've kind of just sat back for most of the games. Australia, I think I might give it to Australia, just for being up on science and for actually getting to a couple of defensive wars and doing all right. But I think it's between these 3, Persia, Australia, and Khmer. So what I'm going to do, bottom of this video, I'm going to open up the comments. You guys, let me know who you want number 2 to be. Persia, Australia, or the Khmer. Which did you think did best out of those 3? If I don't get enough responses, then I'm going to advance Australia through as my particular pick, but I'm willing to get overruled, so do let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, we have, who have we got? Shaka. Ooh, interesting. The Congo. We have got, oh my goodness, who is that? Chango got to India. We've got the alternative India. We've got Tamar of who is that? Scythian Empire, and we've got Gilgamesh. So we've got a couple of really aggressive people next time. That should be fun. Congo in a match with Tamar, Gilgamesh. Actually, is that Tamar? Is that who I'm thinking of? Is that, no? That's Tamiris. Who's Tamar? Who's Tamar? I can't remember who Tamar is. That's really bad. Once I figure out who Tamar is, I'll let you know, but join me next time. Thank you very much for watching, and let's hope for a more interesting heat with the aggressive civs next time, shall we? See you later. Bye!